Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whale Nerds Podcast. This is episode number 76. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Adam and Katlyn.
What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Slater disappeared into a blue whale.
I know, every day.
If I get too close, I disappear.
We're all using Skype backgrounds, and so for those of you that are on Patreon, you can see where we are or what animals are behind us, but Slater's is a blue whale.
Katlyn, you are not in the Grand Tetons.
Yeah, I am.
I'm
I'm sitting outside in the dark,
right now,
and
but
you can see the mountains.
I'm hanging out with a tiny little breaching mola.
Hanging out with the tiniest animal on the planet, the blue whale.
Psych.
Woo! I feel like we haven't talked in a while, so we probably have tons of sightings to go over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Katlyn, you want to go first?
Ladies first.
Sure. So it's been off to a really good start in the North Atlantic, out off Stellwagen Bank. We've had lots of humpback whales, lots of minke whales, Atlantic white-sided dolphins, harbor seals, gray seals. We've had a few fin whales, and yeah, so it's been really good. We've had a lot of feeding activity with humpback whales, sometimes surface feeding, sometimes using bubble clouds, sometimes kick feeding. Oh, I actually sent you guys that video of that whale that was doing that weird, like, peck fin maneuver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this whale named Tornado, and I guess she kind of, like, she's definitely been seen doing it before, but she does this weird, like, big arch of her back and then, like, flips her pec fins forward in a sweeping motion towards her face and then, like, throws her head down really hard and, like, chases after the fish. And sometimes they'll do, like, a big kick on her way down, too. It's, like, a really weird... Like, you look at it and you're like, how does the whale move like that? It, like, doesn't make sense. So...
But it's also like, how does that help it, collect food, or like, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't know if, like, she's flashing the fish when she makes that sweep move.
I guess so, yeah.
She makes bubbles or stuns the fish, and then she comes up underneath them or something. But they do a lot of different, like, unique strategies out here. The kick feeding is one, and each whale kind of has its own spin on it. Like, some whales do, like, a double kick and then dive. Some whales just do one kick. Some whales do, like, they, like, hold their fluke, they're upright, and they, like, arch and, like, flop their fluke down, and others, like, kick and then flip their fluke upwards really hard, too, to, like, make even more bubbles. It's wild. And then they also use, like, bubble nets and bubble clouds, and so they do all kinds of fun things, so it's been really cool to see.
Do they trap feed there?
They do this thing called dragging. So, well, they kind of, I don't know, they kind of trap feed, but not really. They, like, do a really slow lunge every once in a while. I wouldn't necessarily say they sit there long enough to really call it trap feeding. But they do this thing where they, after they've closed their mouth, they just, like, slowly glide forward with their head up at, like, a 45-degree angle. And that's how I got that photo of the whale with the gull on its head. Because, like, they move so slowly when they're dragging those pleats that the birds will land on their head and, like, try and get the fish.
Okay, we have to talk about that photo. That photo is awesome.
I know, I've been wanting to get that photo for a long time because I see other photographers get it from New England, and I'm like, oh my god, I want a picture of a freaking gull.
Oh, so, like, it happens over there a lot?
Yeah. No, I mean, not a lot, but, like, you're more likely to get there.
That's super funny.
New England gulls are ruthless. Yeah, is it? Where did you post that, on your own personal one?
On my own personal Instagram.
Yeah, you guys have to look it up. It's like literally this gull just standing with his 2 feet on top of the humpback's
like,
face.
His beak open, like, screaming at the other gulls.
It's the king gull.
Yeah, get off my whale. But yeah, and then we've seen a lot of Atlantic white-sided dolphins. Like, almost every single trip we've seen them. And we usually, throughout the whole of the season, only see them like 15 to 20% of our trips. So it's been really incredible to see them that much. I think it's, like, more of a springtime thing, but I didn't start working until last summer in July, so I didn't get to see the whole spring like it normally goes. And we have had a few, like, possible distant sightings of a right whale. We definitely did have a sighting of a right whale in front of the harbor. But for me, it's, like, it's kind of sad because the regulations are written to stay 500 yards away, and like really to me you should be interpreting that as like you shouldn't be trying to watch the whale at all. So when we
because
do
you can't get a look from that far really anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And so if we do have a possible sighting, like generally what we do is just keep going. Like the crew will see it and say something to the captain so he's aware. But then we won't point it out to the people because like there's only 360 of them left. We want them to just go on their merry way without us interrupting their day. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but kind of cool. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens as spring goes on.
I would love to see one of those one day, but it kind of has to be under the right circumstances, you know? Like, I would even, like, I feel like it's better to travel to, you know, the southern hemisphere to see them, you know? They're not as endangered there. And
I mean, I saw them from shore, which I felt like that was a really great experience because, like, there's no possible way I'm doing anything.
To harm them.
I don't feel like I'm having an impact standing on the beach watching a whale in the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's it at? Is it Chile or is it Argentina? Where are they? They're somewhere down there.
They're everywhere. I mean, like, South Africa.
There's like a good spot to see them.
Yeah, South Africa. You can see them in Australia.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think with Peninsula Valdez, is that that's a good spot to see.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So
all I want to see is a freaking North Pacific right whale. Is that too much to ask for?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Literally, like
that I saw was 30 to 50 total.
I know, total. That would be the one species that I'd be like you could show me a sperm whale and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. But if I see a North Pacific right whale, I'm like taking my clothes off, jumping over the boat. It's over.
Taking your clothes off? Dude, the water's cold, you dummy.
Fine.
But if you see a beaked whale, like, it's pretty close.
I don't know. I mean, you saw beaked whales, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, good transition.
Slater, I know you're dying to share.
No, I'm not ready yet. I want to hear Adam's first. I'm still trying to remember all the things I saw.
Oh my gosh. Because you saw so many.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been rough up here.
Oh my goodness.
Rough season in Monterey. My sightings have been good. It's just been a bunch of humpback whales, which you can't complain about humpback whales. I love humpback whales. And we've been running our 2.5 hour trips for the majority of this year, but we just switched on Monday to our 4.5 hour trips. So it was cool to still be getting humpbacks on our coastal trips. But now that we're on the island trips, we get a little bit more time to explore and look around. So we go to the islands and stuff. But it's been really good. And the best part about the island trip so far is that our common dolphins seem to be back in full strength. We went like a straight, like at least 2.5 months with like 0 common dolphin sightings, like none, which is like, I've talked to Dave, my captain, and he's like, yeah, I can't remember ever in the 15 years I've been working here that we have gone that long without common dolphins. So just kind of interesting and funny. I don't know if it's the water temperatures or maybe the sea lions were out competing them for a little bit or something like that. But I'm super stoked they're back. And yeah, just been really good with a bunch of commons and humpbacks and sea lions. We've seen a couple minke whales. Those are always really challenging to look at, but I think it's fun. Usually
we've been having great looks at minke whales, but we've also had like a dozen of them around us at a time.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the minke whales themselves are being like curious or good about the boat. I think we're just in the thick of a lot of them.
You don't think it's a minke sack?
Minke whale heaven.
No, yeah, it's just lots of minke whales, and they like weave in and out of the humpbacks. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And then I saw actually there was like 4 molas that were breaching all at the same time. And I was like, why are you guys breaching?
Were they small?
Tiny little guys.
Yeah.
They want to knock off their parasites.
Katlyn, when is it is it fall that they're always flying out of the water everywhere around the harbor in Monterey?
I feel like a couple times in the fall we all were getting photos of them, but I don't know if I would say that it's necessarily like an actually seasonal thing. In the fall, the sea lions are ripping them up.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is the sea lions are throwing around like frisbees in front of the harbor. So sad.
That can't be a very tasty meal, right?
They don't eat it. They don't eat it, dude.
I mean,
they
I feel
literally
like they eat the like middle, like in front of the
gills maybe.
ventral fin, and then like the rest they just like pull the fins off, and then they molas.
Like literally, it's so sad. You'll see like a mola with just no like dorsal fin, and it's just like he's just floating there sideways. You're like,
I've personally heard stories from scuba divers of like there's molas with no ventral or dorsal fin just laying on the bottom off of like Cannery Row, and they're still alive, but they can't move.
That's so sad.
It's like the shark finning. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad because it's like it like brings that thought of the like shark finning stuff to your mind.
But it's nature, man. Nature does.
Yeah, I mean, other things eat it, right? Like sea stars and crabs and stuff. Like, it's still sad.
Speaking of sea lions tearing stuff apart, you guys all saw that video, I'm sure, of the sea lion ripping the gull's head off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was brutal.
That was gnarly.
Dude, nature doesn't care.
Dude, where was that at, first off? I didn't even look.
I didn't look either.
Yeah.
I don't actually have TikTok. You just sent me the link.
Someone sent it to me, though, so. But yeah, or Margot sent it to me, but I also saw it on Instagram, on Nature's Metal, on that page. But yeah, it's
pretty ruthless.
Well, that video is definitely on the top 10 ruthless sea lion videos for sure.
I feel like someone did get it. I don't know if someone did get a video of it, but the day that I saw a sea lion kill a pelican, it didn't eat it. It just killed it. We were trying to dock and it was really windy, so I didn't have my phone or camera out because I was trying to pay attention to what we were doing. But I like looked back and the sea lion was just like this with the pelican's head, and the pelican never swam away again.
He swam away.
No, it just laid there with its head in the water, and I was like, "Yep, yeah. Pretty sure it's dead."
Oh, it's intense.
Yeah.
Well, it's been pretty amazing up here. We've had a lot of bad weather days. You know what? It's really,
not recently though.
They're not bad. They're not bad weather days. They're just bad weather afternoons for sure. Like you can make the mornings. Yeah. The mornings have been fine. A lot of fog, but the trips have been excellent. I don't think we haven't talked since my last all-day trip, right?
Yeah, you had an all-day trip. Yeah.
So my May 4th all-day trip was definitely ballpark. We knocked out of the ballpark on that one. We had humpback whales, but we saw Baird's beaked whales.
That's your first time seeing them, right?
That was my first time seeing them. That was everyone on the boat except for a couple of the crew members and captains' first time seeing them. And they've already seen them. That was their second time. And then I guess there was like maybe 8 or 9 of them. I don't know to be exact. There was too much going on in that moment. and you didn't really hear much after it too. You know what I mean? Like it was like just such a rare sighting, but it's not like there's much to talk about because they're gone,
Yeah.
Yeah, so once we saw those, we left and saw killer whales. So yeah, humpback whales, killer whales, Baird's beaked whales. And then we left those and went and saw white sharks in at the beach. So
nice.
Yeah, that
sounds like the
incredible.
Most epic day ever.
Great day.
Yeah.
Have you seen Baird's, Katlyn?
Yeah. Twice.
I think it's crazy that whatever Slater's been working in Monterey, obviously on and off, but
hours on the water.
That's the thing. People log a lot of hours and never see those things. So that's definitely rare.
I think Rod was saying he's been on the water for 30 years and never seen him. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
I mean, it really is just a right place, right time thing. And all the sightings I've heard of over the last couple years have been in the month of May or sometime in the fall, but mostly for Baird's in the month of May.
Interesting. Why are they here in the month of May?
I mean, I don't know if it's just because everybody's out looking for killer whales in the month of May and they all happen to transit the right spot, or if there really is something going on with the squid and they only come into that part of the bay during
all those
times a year.
All those squid boats are out there.
Yeah, it's thick right now. It was really thick. At the point there was felt like 30 seiners out there.
Yeah.
There was a lot. But I mean, are they even eating those little market squid, or are they coming?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that trip was nuts. Once in a life for sure. I mean, I could never see a Bear's beaked whale ever again.
Potentially.
And we always talk about how rare it is, like, for a blue whale, like, or how many people have seen a blue whale in the world, right? But like, how many people have seen a Bear's beaked whale?
Like,
I'm sure that number is
a
like
fraction of, like, not even 1/4% of the world's population.
Yeah.
I bet you it's like 100 people. Like 100
No.
people have
No.
ever seen
More
it.
than
Dude,
that.
I could name
What do you
100 people
mean?
that have seen it.
I think it's
No
probably,
way.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know, maybe 10,000 people in the whole world.
No way.
Okay, if I can name 5 boats, 5 captains that have seen them in Monterey, and their boats each hold 40,
Okay,
and they've seen them on the, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, maybe it's more like 50 or 60,000 because like they see them off the coast of Japan too.
see, there is places, yeah, exactly. There's places where like beaked whales or sperm whales are more, are seen more often. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, beaked whales as a whole, it'd probably be, I don't know, at least a couple 100,000 because they see them off the Azores, they see them off Japan, you can see them off California.
And
They see them off Iceland sometimes, I think, at least like northern bottlenose whales.
Why can't I see them?
and I could see Adam waiting for that, his face, which is like getting ready to be sad.
You look so sad.
Is Cuvier's, they're the ones that have the longest dive right now, right?
Yeah, they're the dive champions. And they're
Yeah,
also
right,
like the
48
most
minutes.
widespread, I think, of all the beaked whale species.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
So then if you see that, then you're really cool.
Like they see Cuvier's beaked whales off of the Caribbean. You can see them in the off Baja in Mexico.
You've seen them?
Yeah.
So you're
Seen
just better than
Cuvier's?
us?
I'm not saying that.
I'm just,
it was implied though.
I saw your eyebrow raise up and you're like, duh.
Wait, so what other species of beaked whale can Monterey see?
There's 2 other species I think that are potentials based on stranding information. One of them I never know how to say it. It's like Stenninger's beaked whale.
Stenninger's, yeah.
And then there's another species that has stranded off the Big Sur coast, but has never been seen alive off of Monterey.
Dude, the ocean is so crazy. Like, what do you mean? Oh.
Other than that, though, obviously there's been lots of humpback whales coming into the bay. A lot of spread out humpback whales. They're kind of like scattered all along like the beach right now, like a mile to 2 miles off the beach. But between like Moss Landing and Monterey, lots of humpbacks. And then today, same thing, lots of humpbacks right out of the harbor. But the weather was flatter than a lake, which is like
That never happened.
Once in 2 months, every couple months that it's like that. So today on my boat, I went way offshore, and I stopped to look at a humpback whale. I was probably like 12 miles from Moss Landing out into the middle of the bay, just north of like SoCal a little bit. And I stopped for a humpback whale, and I was like, oh, I'll fly the drone. There's, no one's around, and we were way offshore. So I put the drone up, and then a blue whale pops up right next to me. So yeah, I was like, and then I was like calling out the blue whale, and the humpback never came back up. And so then I'm watching this blue whale, and next thing you know, like another one pops up a little, like probably a 1/4 mile away from this one. And while I'm watching the blue whale, I could hear blows, like bigger, like blue whale size blows. But I couldn't see any whales. So then I like finally honed in on like some blows, and I looked over there, and 3 fin whales popped up.
Awesome.
All together too. So I got the drone over the fin whales, and there was 3 fin whales in a tight knit little group, circling together. And obviously, they must have been feeding because they were doing a pretty tight circle, and then going back down. Yeah, and so 2 of the largest animals on the planet. Got great looks at them. Left, and then found a breaching humpback whale that breached like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. He did a lot of like chin slaps in between those and some pec slaps and stuff too. So yeah, and then I basically cried. Out of
What
like,
I'm hearing is that I need to be up in Monterey ASAP, Rocky.
yeah, if you want to cry.
Trust me, I want to cry.
Can
Well,
watch
because
cry together.
The thing is you know how many times I'm like, if I see this, I'm gonna cry, and like I never cry, because it's just like I can't. There's no crying in photography, okay? And so yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. After I shot the photo of the breaching humpback, I like first off I yelled and no one could hear me because I'm by myself, and I was just like, ah! And then yeah, then I got kind of emotional, and then and then I went in.
So you're the first person to find the blue whales today, then, yeah?
Yeah, and that was also, I think, why I was in such a good mood. I found all the whales. I found the blue whales and fin whales, and I was able to like call all the whale boats came out and saw them and got like good looks. Actually, two or three of the companies extended their afternoon trips today, or I mean their morning trips, and just that they didn't have afternoon trips, so they just stayed out there and went and looked for them. So that was cool. I got looks at them.
That's what I there's no other feeling like finding a whale. Like even if it's like you're out there. Like whenever I'm out there looking for whales and I like see one, it's just like, oh yeah, I got one. Like there's just something so good about seeing a scout. I don't know.
And so before I had that humpback breaching, I don't even know if it was the same one that I saw, but I was like, you know what? It's so flat as a lake today. I might as well like go south and try to like get to Carmel Bay. And I was like, I'm going to Point Lobos. That's what I called out, but I didn't even make it close to there. But I saw this humpback out further to the west, and it was breaching, and that's what made me turn. So I turned towards them, and then there was like just like hundreds of yards of bull kelp and kelp, like just strands of it everywhere, like all grouped up though in like big clumps. And I'm like kind of literally dodging these bull kelp, like big piles of it, right, to get towards this like breaching humpback, and then a bunch of spouts pop up, and so I slow down because there's like started to become a lot of whales in the area, and then a humpback in the middle of like one of the bull kelp piles, just like lifts his pec fin up in the air with kelp on it, and I was like, oh yeah. So then I stopped, and that's where I ended up finding that other humpback that was breaching, but. Yeah, just insane day on the water.
Nice. Glad to hear it. I'm glad you guys all saw lots of fun whale things.
Dude, there's nothing like a blue whale in glassy conditions.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just like perfection.
Yeah, especially when you stop the boat and you're just like engines off and you're chilling, and then it comes up again in like the same spot, like 100 yards away from you, and you're like, okay, like I could retire. Bye. It almost makes you want to just like lay down on the back deck and like take a nap out there and not leave.
Oh man. All right. Well, we have a little bit of whale news-ish type things to talk about today. It's news from the North Atlantic, basically. I wanted to cover 2 follow-ups about that ongoing story we've been sort of watching with the killer whales that have been attacking boats that have been coming off of coming into the coast of Spain. And this is from last month. So this group called the Atlantic Orca Working Group created a safety protocol infographic and like set of guidelines, and was trying to put it out to as many boaters and sailors as possible about what to do if you encounter this group of killer whales. Mm-hmm. And basically the safety protocol says stop your boat, take down your sails, leave the wheel loose as long as sea conditions allow. Mm-hmm. Contact the authorities, which is like on the phone you can dial 112 or hail on channel 16 on the radio. Take your hands off the steering wheel and stay away from any part of the boat that may fall or turn sharply. Do not yell at the animals. Do not touch them with anything. Do not throw things at them. Do not let yourself be seen excessively, especially overboard of the vessel. I guess so. Like, don't hang off the side where the whales can see you, I think is what that's trying to say. Interesting. If you have a camera phone or other device, record the animals, especially their dorsal fins, in an effort to try and identify the animals afterwards. Once you feel that the animals have like left the boat alone, you don't feel any more pressure or nudging on the rudder, check that it works. And then if you notice any fault that prevents navigation, request a sea tow. So, yeah, I think it's interesting that like that one group, before this protocol came out, we covered that news story, and the captain just like took his hands off the wheel and like stopped
And
it.
that's
And the whales left. They were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we can't play with this. We're done."
Yeah.
So then all these protocols came out. But then on I think it was the 10th of April. So these protocols went out on the 2nd. Yeah. And then this news story I saw on the 10th of April, there's these sailors coming into the Strait of Gibraltar. They encounter a pod of killer whales, which they think is the same ones. And either these guys didn't get the memo, or which I think is the most likely, or they really thought that they knew better, because they were like trying to like poke the whales with like poles,
Oh my God.
and they were throwing flares at them, and they were like banging on the side of the boat trying to get the whales to leave. And like the whales were, if anything, I felt like they were more encouraged by the interaction.
Oh, I'm sure. They're like,
So,
are you playing? Like, you want to play?
Yeah.
Or like,
what's going on here?
or
So,
they're like,
and it was at nighttime, and I like, they kind of sound scared. Like, I think they were all, I watched the video a while ago. I'm pretty sure they were all speaking Spanish. That one guy was like really frustrated, like, "Oh, they're beating up the boat," and then, like, the other guys kind of sounded nervous. And one guy's like, "Get off the boat!" He's like yelling at them on the stern. And you're like, "Whoa, dude!" He's like throwing stuff at them, and you're like, that's not helpful. I mean, I'm sure that they're very uninformed and like really didn't know what else to do. But it's just, yeah, the drama continues with
What
killer
an
whales.
odd thing, though, like that there's a protocol that came out about killer whales.
yeah, I was about to say, like, that's
You know
so
what I mean?
strange.
Yeah.
I
What
was
a
looking.
time you live in.
If you look through the comments on that like protocol post, there's like there's a video from on the dodo about killer whale. It's here, let me see the name. T73B. So up in Campbell River, and they have a video of him pushing the sailboat up there in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty
I remember that
crazy.
a couple years ago.
But I think that's such a rare occurrence, right?
Yeah. But yeah, most of the incidents are off the Iberian Peninsula, so Portugal and Spain. Right now, the general consensus seems to be that it's the same group of whales pretty repeatedly. So hopefully they can continue to gather more information on that and, go from there. And hopefully they can do a good job of messaging as many boaters as possible, because, it's not safe for people either if they don't know how to interact with these whales to get them to stop. Like, the whales are strong enough to break the rudder,
Oh, yeah.
disables the vessel.
We've seen it.
Huh?
Well, not with killer whales, though, but a gray whale broke the rudder of a boat.
Yeah.
After the calf was killed, the mom was like pissed off and went over to the boat and kicked it.
Yeah.
Damn.
They weren't nicknamed the devilfish for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, those are freaking mafia whales.
So the other ongoing piece of news that actually started in March, I don't have the date offhand of the last sighting, but there has been a gray whale sighted in the North Atlantic. The first sighting, let's see. This is not all translated for me, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. This group that originally posted the sighting is a Dutch organization, but I don't think that the whale was sighted. Oh yeah, it was sighted in Morocco. These two Dutch people visiting relatives in Morocco sighted this whale in very shallow water. It looks like it's outside of a breakwater at a harbor or something.
Oh, I did see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm watching the video on it. So the last time a gray whale was seen was in 2013 off of Israel, right?
Yeah, I think
no.
that same year it was sighted. There was a gray whale sighted off of Namibia and off of Israel, and I don't know if we ever got official confirmation that it was the same whale, but a lot of people were thinking it probably was.
Yeah. So 2010, a gray whale was seen near the coast of Israel, and in 2013 near the coast of Namibia.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine if this one gray whale, it's a female by the way. Yeah, and then it just starts up the population over there, because they might need to, judging on how the gray whale is going right now. Right?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I don't know if the North Atlantic's going to be any safer for him, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So,
I guess they would still come all the way around to feed.
Well, I'm wondering,
Sure,
yeah,
there's food
so
in the
I guess my
Atlantic, but-
curiosity is where would they feed in the North Atlantic? I did actually email Jim Sumich, who is like the gray whale master, and ask a few questions about gray whales in general, especially North Atlantic. And I asked him, I said, where do they breed? You know, like, and he made a really good point. Let me pull up the email conversation between the two of us. Potentially he would be a great person to have on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be cool.
But I asked him, is there any record of where the North Atlantic gray whales used to breed? Because on another episode, we had kind of been spitballing ideas, and the conclusion we had come to is that it's probably similar to the right whales. And there's also a paper that just came out, which I want to cover more in depth in another episode, talking about the eastern North Atlantic range of gray whales and maybe some use of the Mediterranean Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And he said for southeast U.S. coastal waters, there was a lot of overlap between the current right whale breeding grounds and gray whale breeding habitats. But he said that there's fossil records to indicate that there is an eastern Atlantic population, but there's no fossils of calves anywhere to show where the calving grounds might have been. So that's he's like, maybe it's like the Pacific where they all actually like go to, a lot of them actually go to the southeast US, but then they spread out across the Atlantic to feed, just like the Russian gray whales are going all the way to Mexico.
Exactly.
But he's like, the best answer would be if someone could find a calf fossil. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that. Glad I asked you.
True.
Maybe they'd feed off of like Hudson Bay or something. Or like
yeah, I mean, I don't
off
doubt
of
that
that.
they spread out all across the Atlantic. It's just I think the
Where do
question
they
that a lot of
breed?
people don't know how to answer is, was it 2 breeding grounds, one on each side of the Atlantic? Was it only 1 breeding ground? So something that's definitely still under investigation. But yeah, I would love to chat more with Jim about gray whale things in general. And I will cover that gray whale paper that I found, and we'll talk about that in another episode. I just wanted to talk more about like the news that we're a little backlogged on for the North Atlantic, because I do think that follow-up on that killer whale story was really interesting. So, and then also that the gray whale was sighted. Also, I saw another sighting of that gray whale, and it was matched, and it was sighted off of Italy. So the whale was getting around in the Mediterranean. I mean, Morocco's on the south end, and then Italy's up on the north end. So pretty wild. And I don't know if it was trying to feed or what, but I hope it lives.
Whales are pretty crazy, man. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there, dude?
Me?
Go back to your home. No, the whale.
Oh!
It's like Slater's like,
Dang,
what are you talking about? I'm in my home.
Like what? Did we talk about Ireland the other day? What was there? A walrus or something?
Oh yeah,
What
there
were we
was a
Googling?
walrus off the coast of Wales.
Is that what it was?
Let's look it up.
It's just funny, like
We'll talk about it.
It's such a hard question to answer, but like how many of these animals popping up in different locations, like how can you relate that to anthropogenic causes? Like I'm sure there's some effect of
But
us.
at the same
making that real.
time, we don't have any baseline data.
And that's the thing. That's why you can't really say that's
Like,
the truth or that's not.
Yeah, we completely decimated a lot of these animal populations and then completely changed the ocean food web. And then we're like, oh, walruses never went to Ireland. And we're like, well, how do we actually know that? Like, I mean, I guess maybe fossils and like if someone really did have good, records. But I think we changed a lot of things before we realized it and didn't take any notes.
And certain populations are some of them are recovering, so things are popping up in places that hasn't been seen for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah,
I feel like that's different than
discovery,
like.
or is that a new
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I feel like that's different than like these one-off animals, like a beluga whale in California, or the gray whales in the Mediterranean. Like those are like one or two animals, or like a walrus and whales. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
So the walrus story was the 15th of March. BBC reported a walrus was spotted on rocks in Ireland's County Kerry. It was likely to be an adolescent that left the Arctic in search of a new breeding ground and food, and like lost its way. County Kerry is like the southwest side of Ireland, so pretty far down there. It says while such sightings are unusual, an adult walrus was seen on the north and west coast of Scotland in 2018. So, they wander around. I guess they like go for a little adventure.
Well, if a walrus wants to hang out in Monterey, I'm open to it. I think Channel Island has plenty of rocks for them to chill out on. If Adam's okay with the walrus showing up to Santa Barbara.
I don't know about that.
I think he might cry.
I'm just kidding. I would probably cry.
Adam would lose his voice and then cry.
He'd be like,
You would have been proud of me today, Adam. I yelled. I was like,
it's my boy. Hey, man, sometimes the whales like it.
Yeah, then he took 3 breaths and did it again. Brent called me on the radio, Katlyn, which is one of the captains in Monterey here, and he was like, is that whale still breaching? And I grabbed my radio and I'm talking to him. I'm like, it just did right now as I'm freaking talking to you. I was like, you made me miss it. And that one was actually like a pretty close breach, too.
Yeah, you're distracting me. You're making me miss it.
Yeah. It sucks because I'm by myself, so like Rod's calling me today, and he's like, so you still got blue whales? And I'm like, I'm doing something. I'm filming them.
I have my drone in my hands. I can't talk.
And if I don't respond, they're like, do you pick me up? Do you pick me up? I'm like, yes, I hear you. I just can't respond.
Yeah.
Give them the 1 second, like really frantic, like from far away.
Yeah. And then I was like, I'm filming them, and the guy's like, well, you must have some really good underwater camera stuff. You're still filming a blue whale when he goes down. I'm like, dude. Oh.
Just let me do my thing.
Take a second, y'all. Just take a second.
It's all right, buddy. I'll be up there soon. I just gotta run. I'll just walk there.
Maybe get there by tomorrow.
Use your car, you dummy.
I gotta do an oil change in my car. I gotta fix some things on it. So
wow, welcome to adulthood, Adam.
I know. I don't go to Jiffy Lube anymore. I do it myself.
He doesn't go to Jiffy Lube anymore.
How old are you? 13 now?
Add a 10 to that, and you'd be correct.
230.
Oh, Slater.
Oh no. Good thing no one asked us ever to do math.
Yeah, we're not math nerds. We're whale nerds.
Yeah,
Guys.
we're not mathletes.
I have an all-day trip tomorrow, and the weather looks absolutely amazing. What do you guys want me to see? Just call it
Thanks
out.
for the invitation.
All the things.
Adam, I told you to come. Katlyn, you literally can't even come, so.
I have to work tomorrow.
Oh, she has to work.
And the weather looks very nice in Massachusetts tomorrow, too.
It's not the thousands of miles between us.
I mean, it is the thousands.
That's holding you back from going on the trip tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have to fix my car, and then I think if the weather goes well, if the weather's nice and we have good visibility, I think I'm going to do another NOAA survey flight. Is the plan right now.
Oh, nice. That'll be cool.
Because I want to see if there's freaking blue whales out there by Santa Rosa Island, because I bet you there are. But we just don't.
They're all up here. I actually rounded all of them up today, and I had to talk with them, and I said,
no.
Don't go to Santa Barbara this season. Stay up here in the northern part of Monterey Bay Canyon. I was like, you can venture into the SoCal, but just, a little outside of that is plenty fine.
Like, I put all the krill out for you. You don't need to go anywhere.
I did see lots of shearwaters today.
Nice.
Like miles and miles of them. So that was cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do love me a good flock of shearwaters.
Yeah. And foul ropes. There's infinity foul ropes. I don't even know where the heck these things came from. I swear. Like, what? I see 10 sometimes, and now there's like 10 billion.
Pretty soon it's going to be the deafening calls of common murre, dad, and chick pairs.
Do we even
you can't hear yourself think they're so loud.
Do we even know where foul ropes breed?
I mean, I think it is known. I don't know it off the top of my head, but...
I love phalaropes. They're like my favorite. They're so cute.
Redneck phalaropes are cool.
They're so cool.
But there's another bird that I like that I haven't really seen for a few years. The storm petrel.
Oh, they breed in the far north, like Alaska and Canada and Greenland, and then they migrate south. They can be seen all the way down in Panama, and they use most of North America as their migratory routes.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bird Nerds podcast.
Anyways, Adam, when you see a northern storm petrel, call me.
Literally all of last year we had those tiny little black storm petrels everywhere, but my camera's not really good enough to get a good picture of a petrel because they're like
really
this big.
hard to get pictures of. They're
super hard.
A lot, and yeah.
Sweet.
We had a lot of Wilson storm petrels last year. It was really fun to try and take photos of.
Dude, who is Wilson? There's Wilson's phalaropes. There's Wilson storm petrels. Who is that guy?
Some dude that loved to name animals after himself, just like that Stellar guy.
Just like Cuvier.
Yeah.
Linnaeus Cuvier. I don't know.
Seriously. Stellar
Linnaeus.
sea lion, stellar sea cow, stellar jay.
Stellar turkey.
That guy's ego. He's probably a narcissist.
Now it's like you're not supposed to name an animal after yourself. That's like really tacky. It's more like someone else names the animal after you to honor you.
Yeah, if I ever get a chance to name an animal, I'm naming it after my professor in community college, and his last name is Wilson, so it's gonna be like Wilson I, or like.
Wow, but then it's gonna be like already there's so many Wilson's things.
Well, I'll do Brian Wilson I.
Or like you can name the blue whale. What do you call it? Flu. You can name it the Ernsters something.
The Ernsters more. Like
yeah,
I would never do.
Like yeah, that's what I was going with. That. The Ernsters morph.
Except Bob Brownell's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, I hung out with him last year.
Is he cooler than me though?
Is he alive? I don't even. Who is it? Paul? What's up, Paul?
Bob? I think he's still alive.
Bob?
Yeah.
Georges Cuvier. That's
pretty sure it's Bob Brownell. I think that's his name. Let's Google it.
Oh, we're going back into the old naturalist names here.
Sweet.
Throwing it back. Well, I think that was a good podcast. How you guys doing? How you guys feeling?
I'm excited to talk again. It's been a while. We've been so busy, all of us.
Yeah, we've been very busy.
And Katlyn's still getting her schedule too over there, dialed in because you're just getting into your trips, right?
Yeah, and I'm training new crew, and we're just still trying to get settled into a routine. So, yep.
But I think we'll be back on it again.
Hey, what's the whale of the week?
Oh.
Ooh.
Maybe just go with Baird's beaked whale.
Yeah, let's do Baird's beaked whale.
Baird's beaked whale.
Comment Baird's beaked whale on. You can comment on any post. We'll see it.
Dude, what if I go my entire life without seeing a Baird's beaked whale? Can I cry then?
Yep.
Yeah.
But not until the end of your life.
So when I'm 95, I can be like, damn it.
But you can't be. You can only be crying about that. You're like, why is he crying? No,
on my deathbed.
Not because you're ending your life, but it's because you didn't see a Baird's beaked whale.
I mean, if that was going to be anybody, it'd be me.
In his final will and testament, his testament is actually his species checklist. And yeah. All the unfulfilled boxes.
Do you guys have? Do you guys know how many species you've seen?
I counted it a while ago. It was I don't know. I don't remember. In the high 20s.
I think I have 18.
I'm in the high 20s.
No, you're not. Shut up.
Yeah, I am.
Well, I think we split hairs a lot over ecotypes and a couple other things. Last time we counted.
I'm talking about species, straight species, no brownells. That doesn't count.
I really believe those ecotypes should be separate species.
Well, they definitely 100% should. But
Katlyn, what whale have you seen that I haven't seen? Cuvier?
A whale.
Say whale?
Well,
I think I've seen a Brutus for sure. I don't know if I've seen a say whale.
I've not seen a Brutus whale.
So we're even on that.
North Atlantic right whale.
Okay, if you want to fight me, say it out loud. All right, let's end this. I'm getting angry.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the podcast and for sharing it with people. If you choose to, that's super cool of you. And if you wouldn't mind rating or reviewing the podcast on whatever platform you like to listen to it, that would be great. And then if you are looking for where we are on social media, we are on Facebook and Instagram at Whale Nerds. And I am so grateful to all our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support every month. That really is helping us a lot to be able to prepare to do some really cool things. And we really appreciate your support there. So thank you.
Be on the
Yeah,
lookout.
thank
Wellness
you.
is about to pop off.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support on all the platforms. It means a lot to us, and we're super excited to continue on with the Whale Nerds podcast.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.